Hi, everybody. We'll give people a couple minutes or a minute or so to hop in, and then we will get started. Whoops, wrong button there. So we almost made it through the week. Friday's almost done. All right, I'll go ahead and get started to respect everyone's time. Thank you so much for joining. So for this session, we will go over using topics to organize in Google Classroom, using or posting assignments to multiple classes at once, and posting assignments to either your entire class or a small group of students, and then providing feedback to students, and then any other questions that you might have regarding Google Classroom, feel free to ask. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so we can get started. Minimize all this stuff. Okay, so for Google Classroom, I'm gonna hop into a couple different classes because I want to be able to show what it actually looks like when students are returning work. But to start, I'm just gonna start in this fake class. So when you are assigning work to students, you want to be doing that in the classwork section. And you'll notice over here to the left, I've already created these two topics, reading and math. And then in the main feed of the classwork section, under reading, I have one assignment, and I don't have anything under the math section yet. So to create these topics, you can click on this create button. And then the very last option is topic. And you can have any topic that you would like. For elementary, like I would have set my classroom up like this, reading, math, things like that. For secondary, it might be by units or by topic within your content area. So just keeping it simple. Maybe my next topic is science. I will add that. And then your topics show up over here. By default, your newest topics will show on top. But you can also change the order of any of the topics. If I click the little three dots here, I can move this topic up or down. So if I want reading to be the first thing that my kids see, I can move the topic up, and now they will see reading first. So one of the other nice features of using topics is students can then just click on the left-hand side on that topic, and they'll see just the assignments or anything you've posted under that topic. So let me actually show you the benefit of that. Nope, not in this class. In the Tech Leads class, just because we have a ton of topics. In this one, I do with the Tech Leads just by month. But if I want to know what we talked about in February of 2019, I can just click on that topic, and then here are all the things from February 2019, and I don't have to scroll through this entire list to get to February 2019. So as you start using Google Classroom more and more, and if you use a lot of topics or you have a lot of assignments and other things posted, it starts to get a little cluttered. So the topics will allow your kids to sort and easily find what they're looking for. So I'm going to go back into that demo class, and I will create a couple of assignments. So when you create an assignment, you just click on the create button and then assignment. And you're going to give your assignment a title. We'll go with Read Chapter 2. If you have any instructions, you can add it here for students. If you want to attach anything for them, you would do that here. And you have the option to attach something from your Google Drive, a link to something, you can upload a file, or you can include a video from YouTube. When you attach something from your Google Drive, so let's see what I can find here to attach. You will do this schedule of the trainings. So when you attach anything in your Google Drive, there it is. You have 3 options here on what kids will be able to do with that file. So it comes up with students can view file. This makes it a static document. They all will have access to it to view it, but they can't edit it. If you want them to edit the file, meaning all of the students are editing this one document, then you would set it to students can edit the file. If you want Google Classroom to make a digital photocopy for each of your students, you would say make a copy for each student. And the nice thing about that is it will take the title of your document, the title of your assignment. Nope. Sorry. It will take the title of your document and it will insert the student's name. So if you were, if John Smith was a student in your class and you set it to make a copy for each student, John Smith's document would be named John Smith - Virtual Trainings for Remote Learning Support. So it easily allows you to see who's turned it in and whose document is whose. A thing to note is this option for make a copy for each student only appears when you are initially creating the assignment. If you create the assignment and then you go back in and you realize, oh, I forgot to add, or I wanted to add another attachment or another document for them, when you go back in to edit, you won't have this option, and I'll show you what that looks like. Students, right now, if it's set at make a copy for each student, they will have their own copy and they can write on it and type whatever they would like to. And then over here on this side panel, by default, on the For section, it's gonna wanna put this assignment in the class that you're in. So I'm in this Demo Delete class, and it's going to wanna send it to all students. If you click this drop down by all students, in your class where you have all of your students, you'll see a list of all of your students, and you could just deselect all students and select the specific names of who you want to send this to. And if you send it to 5 kids, then only those 5 kids will get it. The other 20 kids or 30 kids, they won't even know it's an assignment. So this is how you can differentiate by just sending it to a certain group of your students. And then the other option that you have is in this For section. If you are a secondary teacher and you teach the same course multiple times, then maybe you want to assign this Read Chapter 2 to like your first period, second period, and fourth period class. So right here where it says the name of your course or the name of your Google Classroom, you can click on that and all of your Google classes will appear. So maybe I want to send this Read Chapter 2 also to this class that I have called Demo Training Videos. So now I've checked off for both of these, so it will send this entire assignment, including the document for students, to both classes. But you'll notice if you do that, by default, you have to send it to all the kids in both of those classes. The next section here is points. It always shows up as 100, but you can come in and you can make it worth 15 points, however many points. You can choose it to be ungraded. That's just up to you, whatever you want to do for an assignment. Same thing down here, you can pick a due date. And one of the nice things about due dates is if I say this is due March 23rd at 11:59, if Johnny turns it in March 24th at 12:01, he can still submit it, but it will just show up on your screen as late. So then you just know Johnny missed the deadline. Again, you do not have to set a date and a time, but if you want to, you can. And then under topic, you can click here. And so I have those 3 topics that I had created: math, reading, and science. Or if you're in the middle of creating an assignment and you realize, oh, this really is going to go under social studies, I can click the create topic button. I can type in social studies. And so now this will be added to a new topic called social studies. So when you're all done, you can assign it. And so it's saving, and it'll take me back to my classwork section once this is all saved. Eventually, pause. Maybe it'll take us back there. Fingers crossed it'll take us back there. Come on, Google. All right, I'm gonna just exit out if it'll let me. Nope. There, okay. So I exited out. So here it's saved as a draft because I exited out before it actually got to save. So I can go back in here and hover or click on these 3 little dots. I can go in and edit it. And again, oh, come on, no little spinning wheel. I can click on my topic. We'll just keep it simple, social studies. But I do want to show you now that if I go in here to add another item from Google Drive, because remember, now I'm editing the original assignment. So if I go in here to add something from Google Drive, I think my computer's saying, Brandy, it's Friday. Why have you been using me so much? It's not liking this. No, come on, Classroom. All right, well, what I was gonna show you is if you go in here to edit, or excuse me, to add something else from your Drive, you only have the 2 options of students can view the file or students can edit the file. You no longer will have the ability to have students make a copy of the file for each student. So I'm gonna try to give Classroom a break for a second. I'm gonna stop my screen sharing. I'm gonna pop back in here real fast. There we go, and now it's loading. Does anyone have any questions so far? Sorry to like cut that in the middle. I'm gonna try to refresh my Google Classroom to see if I can get it loading a little bit faster so that I can keep showing you what's going on.
So Brandy, in that case, if you want students to have a document that they can write on, is there a workaround?
So my workaround that I did, because when I was using this in the classroom, and again, I taught 3rd grade, so they weren't doing a ton of work in Google Classroom, I would just delete the assignment and start back over. One of the teachers in one of the trainings this week said, he's high school, that he had told the kids if it just brings up a view only, for them to go to file and make a copy and make their own copy of that document. But for me, I had 8-year-olds, that seemed complicated at the time. I'm sure kids could do it now. I think for me, that seemed complicated, but those are the 2 workarounds that I can think of.
Thank you.
Brandy?
Yes.
Bing, hi.
Hi.
Yeah. So my question is just verify you just said, so if I attach the document from my file to like the multiple choice test, practice test, like have 20, 30 problem over there. So they'll be able to download and make a copy, print them out. Is that true?
If it's a Google, it'll make a copy of it. If it is, well, it'll make a copy of the PDF, yeah. But if it's a PDF, they won't be able to write on it unless
Yeah, but can they are like print out, like I submit like the digital one in there, but they want to do that, like a test on the paper. So can they directly print out from the computer and working on that paper?
if they have a printer, I don't know if the school, if they're using a school Chromebook, if they'd be able to connect to their home printer on it. That I don't know. But if they were using a personal computer, then yeah, they should be able to connect to their printer. But then they're going to have to either take a picture of it or scan it to upload it so that you can see it.
Mm. Okay, another question is when you're showing earlier about the topic, that right now I'm using that assignment part. I didn't put in the topic. What I do is I just put today, let's say, March 19, 2000 homework, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next day I say like today, March 20, blah, blah, blah. But because this is only for math. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to do the topic. But if I want to do like the topic, like the new lesson, or I want to review, like a review, what is your suggestion? I can make a different copy for the second level students.
For topics, you could have the topic be the date. And then they know, okay, well, I did the lesson on March 18th, so let me see what I needed to do for March 19th. So your topics could be by date, or if it's, and I'm not going to pretend to know what a topic is in AP Calculus, but if it's like differential equations, you could have a topic be differential equations, and then all of your assignments and resources and things for differential equations.
Okay, like someday assign them like a FRQ question, someday I assign them like a multiple choice question. So I can separate that topic, or I can just go ahead do day by day. That's
Yeah.
fine too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, got you. Thank you.
Awesome. So it looks like my entire computer is frozen. All of my tabs in Chrome no longer want to work. Janet, can I make you a host? And do you want to screen share?
Sure.
Okay. Sorry, guys. Manage participants. Make host.
Oh, I have another question now.
Okay.
Yeah, the one thing for their turning homework, I assign them homework like every day, but if I want them turn in like every 2 day or every 3 day, because it's a make the work, I can check their homework together, make them easier for me. It's not going every day, give them 10 points. Each of students, I have 5 class, like doing that. Is there any suggestion? Is it make them easier to view their homework?
I would just say have the due date be, so like let's say you assign them something today. So under the March 20th assignment, you're going to say that it's due on Wednesday. Then Monday's assignment will also be due Wednesday. You would just change the due date to whenever you want it due, every 3 days, every other day.
So they turn them in together.
It'll still come up as separate assignments if you've listed them as separate assignments.
Mm-hmm. But they turn in separately, because I list them like 3 different assignments.
Mm-hmm.
But I change the due date, and some of them will be turning early anyway. Some of you turn, right on that day. So if they are they turn in this together in the one of the 3 days, or they are, you know what I mean? or they are just turning to the third day, because 1, 2, 3 days. Are they supposed to go into the specific days to turn in homework, or they just, I'm
So
not
they're
sure.
going to have to go into whatever the assignment is, and they're going to have to turn in whatever you have for that assignment.
Okay. Another way I can give them 3 days homework together, and give them longer for due day, and they turn in together. I just check how many they did all or not, or partial of it, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, got you. Thank you.
Awesome. So Janet, if you share your screen, if you could get into that Getting Geeky in Google Classroom course that I had, that you were a fake student in. Oh, come on, little computer. There we go. Okay, so this was the class that Janet was, where is it going on my screen? There we go. That Janet was in, that was like a PD of mine. So Janet, if you could click on the classwork tab. And so one, for a student view, you'll notice that the 2 assignments in the middle are grayed out because Janet actually completed them, whereas the 2 on top and then the 2 on the bottom, she didn't do anything for them. So that is one way that your students can see what they've done and what they still have to do. If you could go into the Doctopus assignment and then click View Assignment. Okay, so this is the student screen for any assignment. So you'll see the title on the top left, Doctopus. You see my name because I'm the teacher. And then right under that, you'll see class comments. If any student writes a comment in that space, it will go to the entire class. So maybe it's something like, hey, I forgot what's the order of operations. I don't know, but they're gonna type it out and then anyone in the class can respond. Or maybe they have a question about like, when is this due, or whatever question it is. Anything they do in class comments goes to the entire class. If you look down more towards the right, where you see my picture again, and it says 1 private comment. When students are working, you also have the ability to send them a private comment, which is one-on-one feedback. So that great job I had sent as we were demoing this yesterday when I was returning the work to her. So on your teacher end, when you are looking at an assignment and you grade it, and then you'll get the option to return it back to the student. In that step, you have the ability to leave a private comment for students. So that's one way that you can leave feedback just for students. And then similarly on this screen, even if Janet wasn't done with her work, she still has that box to leave private comments to you as the teacher. That box still appears and she can type on it. So in the situation that we're in now with the remote learning, this might be a place that if you need to leave feedback to students, you have that option and they have that option as well. I just kind of want to point out that the difference between the class feedback or the class comments and then the private comments. And if you have any students that, like, again, I taught 3rd grade, so my kids would leave comments like, hi, Miss Miller, good morning, Miss Miller, I'm done, Miss Miller, because they were 8. And so we would talk about, okay, those are things you can say to me because you're in front of me. But if you have kids that are a little bit naughty when it comes to their comments, you also have the ability, and Janet won't be able to show this on this class, but in the settings for any class where you're the teacher, you have the ability to mute students. They still will see all of the work, they just won't be able to comment. So you might have 1 or 2 students that you need to mute. You also can take off the ability for the entire class to comment. So maybe you just want, you can leave comments, even if you mute a student, the private comments are still open and available for all students.
I'm sorry, Brandy, which screen are you on right now?
So we are looking at Janet's screen that says Getting Geeky with Classroom, and her assignment that was called Doctopus.
Okay, so is that under assignments?
Oh, this is under classwork.
Classwork, okay.
Yeah. So we're just now viewing it from the student end, what they see when they click on it. But yeah, to get to this specific screen, she had to click View Assignment.
Okay, thank you.
So Brandy, you are here. Okay, how you mute the students' comments, like the private comments? Where you
Okay,
go?
so Janet's going into a class that she is the teacher of. So she's in this test class, and then if you click on the gear icon, under the settings here, under stream, you have the option where students can post and comment. So you maybe want to make it where they can only comment on your post, or only you as the teacher can post or comment.
Okay.
That's one option. Or if you go ahead and get out of that screen, Janet, and then if you click on people, so here, and again, this is a fake class that Janet has, but under the student section, all of your students would be listed, and there's a little checkbox in front of their name. If you check that box, and then I want to say it says actions, if you click on actions, one of the actions is to mute them.
So you can mute them individually or as a whole class?
Yes.
You also can either mute them only in private comments, or in the class comments.
If you mute them, they will not be able to leave class comments, but they will still be able to leave private comments to you.
So the private comments is always open.
Yes.
Only you can mute them on the class
yes.
comments. Okay, thank you.
Awesome. So let's see, that was adding an assignment, organizing, we showed the differentiating. I'm trying to make sure that I hit all those things that I said, and I can't click on my list because my screen's frozen. Were there any questions people had about specific things in Classroom?
Yes, Brandy, I had a question regarding like in Seesaw, where you mentioned you have to like send them a remind notice or something to let them know there's an assignment there. Is that the same with Google Classroom?
Yeah, so for elementary, they're not gonna, Google Classroom will send them an email, but elementary's emails aren't turned on. So you would have to send them a message, or send the parents a message saying, hey, I posted the work. It's in Google Classroom.
Okay.
For secondary, you can post it and they'll get an email. So like my daughter's teacher, she posted this morning saying to the parents in Remind, because that's how she communicates with us, saying that she was going to post today's work by 7 a.m. And then I just told my daughter, hey, your homework for today is going to be posted by 7 o'clock.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, so how about if I was interested in adding an outside assignment into Google, like let's say, Common Core math sheet or something like that?
So as long as you have it as a PDF, then when you click on your classwork and then create an assignment, so you'd go through all these steps, and then under add, you would just click the file, and it would let you search if it's on if you've downloaded it to your your hard drive of your computer, you could search there. You could also upload that PDF to Google Drive, and then you can attach it from Google Drive as well.
But down to file, and then I go from there.
Yeah,
it would automatically.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Very good. Very good. Very good. Thank you.
Anytime.
Brandy.
Yes.
We can get notifications to our Gmail, right?
Yes.
So I don't need to go to class.
Yeah, anytime students, if they make a comment, if they submit the work, you will get an email notification. If you have the app on your phone, you would get a notification on the app. And now that I'm thinking about it, if the elementary kids had a phone or a mobile device, and if they put the classroom app on there, they would get the notifications on that. But I don't know how many, I think some of our kids have devices, but in terms of an email, the elementary kids won't get an email.
Okay.
But you will get a ton of notifications as the teacher.
Okay, so I want you to show me in what part of the setting you say notifications on and off.
So Janet, if you could go exit out of that assignment and click back on the gear. I think it's in the gear. No, what I had done is I had made a label in my Gmail saying that if I get an email from Google, to automatically delete it. So it wasn't through Classroom, it was through Gmail.
Through Gmail.
Yeah.
Brandy, I have a question.
Yes.
So if I have a student who wants to type on it, if I save it as a PDF, they're not allowed to type on it, right? Or they can't type?
Right, unless they have, there's some converter programs, depending on how savvy they are, they could figure out, but just inherently by default, they can't type on a PDF. Well, no, let me take that back, because Janet and I were playing around with it, and on the app, they can annotate a PDF if they have the Google Classroom app on a mobile device.
Do they have the Google Classroom app to do that on their Chromebooks?
No, because they're just going to classroom.google.com. Yeah.
Brandy?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Question somebody just asked, I think there's an answer to, and that is, if you take some of your assignments and send them to, whether it's a PDF or an image of a classroom assignment, drop it onto Google Slides, and if you need to annotate, you can just mark directly on top of the assignments with Google Slides through a different color or something, so the kids can see what you're talking about the same way.
That's a great workaround, Greg. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, so you could take your PDF, save it as an image, put that image on a Google slide, and then kids could add a text box and they could type and do all of that in Google Slides.
Brandy,
Yep,
Brandy, I have a question. So I figured out how to assign lessons through Think Central for math expressions.
Okay.
Are students able to write on those lessons that are sent through that?
I'd have to ask Ryan Rexer because I don't know what those look. I haven't seen the Think Central interface, so I'd have to find out what. Janet, do you know anything about Think Central? No. So I will write that down on my little list. Think Central. Can students write on work? Yeah, I'd have to find, off the top of your head, do you know what, is it a PDF they get, or is it?
I don't know. When you go into the student workbook, it just gives you a little option to share it, and then it just pops up as Google Classroom, and it walks you through the steps of assigning it.
Okay. Yeah, I'll try to find out from Ryan what his best ideas are. And then in the chat, people are dropping in some ideas about PDF converters. So there's PDF Exchange Editor, Kami. So those are some tools, Karen, that you could use possibly to have your kids write on a PDF.
Awesome.
So on our school district, because I teach special ed, they have the read to write or write to read. I forget which way it goes with the little puzzle piece.
Mm-hmm.
So I how would they use that with the documents that are on Google Classroom that they would pull off?
So as soon as they click on the assignment, so say it was a PDF, some kind of an article, the little read and write with Google, the puzzle piece will pop up and they'll have all of their functions available there. So your students would be able to use that to annotate and write on the PDF.
Okay, thank you. I'll play with it. Thank you.
No problem.
Hi,
I got a
Brandy.
question. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Bing.
Okay, sorry. You may mention something, I don't get it. If I want to, let's say Google Classroom, I have the students, missing the homework, is not turning. Let's say I have one class, have 3. Is there any way I can send a message to the 3 students, together, like one time, to remind them they didn't do the homework, or send to their parents? Is that possible?
You can't message parents directly through Google Classroom. You could add them as a guardian, and they would get a summary and it would let them know that it was late. But since you have secondary students, their email function is turned on. You could send them an email.
From the Google Classroom?
I think so, because that wasn't turned on when I was in the classroom. But yes, I think so.
Okay. Which part I need to go to get there?
So you're going to click on the students. And then you would check the box by, Johnny, Billy, and Susie. And then under actions, one of the options I think is email.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
And another thing, if I have I have a CD. This is I have a Chinese class, and they have the reading, like the dialogue. I want students listen to that, but I have a CD. How can I put the lesson in the Google Classroom so they can? How can I transfer?
You'd have to somehow download the content from the CD so that it's an MP3 file, an audio file, for them to be able to listen to it.
Oh, okay. I have no idea how to do that. Okay. How about the video? I have another, like a DVD. It's same thing, showing their, different, situation, culture things. Is that possible? I can post that on the Google Classroom?
I mean, from a DVD, you'd have to find something on YouTube, I think would be the easiest.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. Any other questions?
Yeah, I do.
Go ahead.
IA is able to assign work under the teacher's Google Classroom as well, or is it only the teachers?
If they add you as a teacher, then you can assign work as well.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. The teacher just would need to go into the people section, and then in the teacher section at the top, there's a little person head with a plus sign. Click on that, put in your email, and then you'll get an email saying, Brandy Miller has invited you to be a teacher, and you just accept that.
Brandy, question about the quiz assignments.
Yes.
So it shows that you can put a locked on mode for Chromebooks, but not all the students may be using Chromebooks at home.
Right.
So if I put on that locked on mode, do you know if that's working with other types of devices?
It's not. It only works on school managed Chromebooks. So like my daughter has a Chromebook, but it's her personal Chromebook that I bought. So if her teacher put that on, she would still be able to surf the internet because it's not a district managed device.
So if I want to give them a test, is there an alternative to where I can kind of stop them from searching for the answer?
Right. Janet, do you know of any? I don't know of any workarounds because we're not on campuses.
The only thing that I can think is that we have to adjust the way we're assessing students. I think we have to because I can't think of another way to lock it where students would not be able to find the answers like through Google or something. So I think we have to create assessments that are not Googleable. That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. But if anyone else has any suggestions, bring them.
Yes.
We'll think about it.
All right, well, we're over our time, and so I want to respect your time, especially on a Friday afternoon. If you have any other questions, you can always reach out to myself or Janet. We will do our best to help you in all the ways that we can. And this is being recorded, so we will post this and all the other videos that we've done this week onto the EdTech website. So thank you so much. Yes.
Brenda, really quick question. You mentioned you were going to have office hours. What time?
Yes, my office hours will be next week, starting at 11. And so I will probably email the coaches to email all of the teachers. I think that'll be the easiest way to get it out.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
No problem. Awesome. Thanks, everybody. Have a good weekend.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, Janet, do you want to end the meeting? Because you're the host now.